I have every trophy in this game, so it's all doable. I know what I'm doing, certainly. A lot of it's just a matter of patience, which I can't say I'm a fan of, but I also wouldn't be able to call myself a fan of this game if I didn't get every single trophy on my first playthrough on PS4, which is absolutely what I did. So yeah, mentioning, because I always, again, I say always, I always talk about the merchandise in some point of my playthroughs. So I guess I'm just doing it again here. There were 6 figurines released with the game. Stan was combined with Ari as sort of like the looming shadow figure. So there was Stan and Ari. He was packaged with Marlene. James and Rosalind were packaged together, and Bull and Linda were packaged together. I am a proud owner of an in-box Bull and Linda, and a still very proud but slightly less proud owner of a out-of-box Marlene and James, which that always kind of bothers me, because the seller on eBay is like, I have Marlene and I have James. And naturally I bought them, don't get me wrong. I got them pretty cheap too, actually. They were less than 20 bucks. But, those aren't the ones they're normally packaged with. You dig? So, like, Marlene's normally with Ari and James is normally with Rosalind. So the fact that the seller had Marlene and James rather than, say, you know, James and Rosalind and Ari and Marlene was very weird to me, and it's still weird to me. I don't know the story behind it. I didn't bother asking. I was just happy to get the figurines. Somebody on Tumblr was saying they recently picked some up at a comic book store or something like that in New York, and the guy she was buying from was like, this thing's been there forever. No idea what series they're from or anything like that. So, lucky you, person on Tumblr. I'm not bitter at all. So yeah, I still need Stan and Ari and Rosalind. All the figures came with little stands that are gears that you can set them up on, and each stand has a little slot in the back, so you can basically have Stan hanging out behind anyone. So if you want Stan hanging out behind Linda, you can have that. That is 100% doable in this world. You can have him hanging out behind Rosalind as well. Or James, if you really want. The Santa of the Shadows. His true identity, naturally. That wacky James. Additional things that came out for it. I own... This is weird to say. I own a... The advertisement for this game was relatively weak. All things considered, from what I've been able to scrounge up about it, the advertisement seemed to be largely reliant on demo discs for the PS1. And I will say I don't have any of those. There are a couple on eBay that it's like PS1 demo disc, and it includes all the demos. So there's like one for the Monkey Island 4 port for the PS2, and also on that disc there's an Okage demo. And I think it would be interesting to see. But at the same time, in order to see it, A, I would have to dig out my PS2, and B, it's not a gameplay demo, it's just a trailer for it. And the more I say it, the more I want to see that trailer and record it and put it on YouTube, because I think that would be awesome. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to drop money for a PlayStation 1 CD that only has a video of Okage on it. I did buy the comic book advertisement, which is actually a really cool-looking advertisement. So I am willing to drop money on that. I bought the official soundtrack that was only released in Japan. That got imported to me. As far as the figures, those were also only released in Japan, and the Marlene and James ones I was able to pick up on eBay and have them shipped to me, no problem, with the stands included, so that was nice. With Bull and Linda in box, I actually had to buy that from I had to have a friend of mine in the UK buy it for me and then ship it to the US so that I could have it, because the seller was in the UK and he wasn't willing to ship outside of the UK. So I had a friend of mine buy it and ship it to me, and I paid him back, I think, with a Steam game or something like that. So that was rad. Shout out to Jazz for making that happen. He worked out, but that worked out quite nicely. Thank you very much. Indebted to you for that. There was a bottle opener released as well that has, you know, Stan's teeth on the part that it would open bottles and his little ears. Very few of those exist because there were only like 50 made and they were won in contests and shit. So, if you Google image it, there is an official image of it kicking about, but, you know, you're not going to find any for sale. And honestly, that's something I'm sort of hoping some lovely people on Etsy might one day make, because I think that would be cool to have. Speaking of Etsy, the button-mashing guys who, they know me purely because I went insane in my second playthrough of Okage when I bought some Okage buttons from them. They're the only guys on Etsy with Okage anything, and it wasn't a custom job either. They had the full set of buttons for pretty cheap. It was less than 20. I can't remember exactly how much I spent on it, but it's all original artwork by them on buttons, and they're lovely buttons, and I have them in my drawer of Okage merchandise and stuff. Yes, it all fits in a single drawer because I'm sad and desperately trying to hold this franchise and all of this merchandise together for me. But it's very good work. I highly recommend them if you want to check out their buttons. Tell them I sent you. That would be, I think that would, oh, this is Linda's thing. I think it would make their day if they're like, oh, that guy who went insane and bought buttons from us that one time. Recommended us, and somebody... Not much better, is it? Still, better is better. I think that means Rosalind's thing is on the other side. Oh, bums. That was hardly a surprise attack. At least it's not the guys who will rob me. Hell, these guys might be just slow enough that I can still get away. Yeah, they are. Ha. So yeah, button mashing guys, I have some buttons from them. They are the main 6 dudes: Epros, Linda, Rosalind, Stan, Ari. Wait. Hold on. There's only... Are there 8 buttons? There must be 8 buttons. I'm mistaken. Yeah, it's Rosalind, Stan, Linda, Ari, Kiesling, Bull, and James. That's only 7. And Rosalind, Stan, Linda, Kiesling, James, Ari, Bull, Marlene. Yeah, okay. So it's 8 buttons. That sounds right. They're all very cute, very well made. I recommend them highly. Again, if you... I'm not saying you'll get a discount or anything. Don't be like, yo, Token said he'd give me a discount. Just be like, if you do end up going to Etsy and looking for them and getting them for yourself, because they're pretty rad buttons, be like, Token Lad from YouTube told me about your buttons, and I wanted to get them. Because I love those buttons. I freaked out about the buttons. If you want to find the episode, it's in my second Okage playlist called Buttons, in all capital letters, I think. And, they're very cute buttons. Go check them out. The guys at Button Mashing are cool dudes. They have my full support. There's also... The only thing I didn't actively seek out and hunt down or commission for myself, the lovely Kaida Killer, she, for my birthday, I think it was my birthday, it was either birthday or Christmas, I can't remember, she basically had someone on Tumblr commission some little stills of Okage, and one of them is just a nice still of Linda, which is very cute, and the other one is Rosalind, Ari, and Stan all playing with the tiger cubs we saw a few episodes back in the Madril sewers. Which, again, is very cute. They're very cute, I like them very much. Thank you very much, Kaida, for those. And I can't remember the name, I think it's Kit Kat something? I don't know. I can't remember the name of the person on Tumblr who she commissioned, but if I had them with me, I'd give them a shout-out. I don't have it with me, so... Sorry. I'll give you a shout-out when I go home. I'll make a special note of it. I will re-edit the description of this video specifically next time I'm at home to have a link to that person's Tumblr or DeviantArt or whatever it is she linked when she drew up those little images. They're very nice. Is there anything I'm forgetting in terms of Okage stuff I have? Oh yeah, I have the Prima official strategy guide, which is only useful for a couple things. Like, it has all the tiny gear locations, it has how you do some of the side quests. It's also got some pretty nice artwork that you can't get anywhere else, although it's been scanned at this point and is online. Still very nice artwork. Actually, now that I think about it, there is one that is in that book that you can't get anywhere else. I should fix that. I should go ahead and scan it and upload that. But, I also have the Japanese strategy guide, which is much more in-depth and well-made. It has, like, quips from all the characters and their opinion pieces on everything. So, like, Ari's mom is constantly giving advice. There's little word bubbles with their pictures on them. It's very well-made. Clearly, a lot of more love and care went into that. It is something that, apparently in the Japanese version of this game, the enemy healths were different. Because in this game, Balloon has 9,999 health. That is absolutely 100% fact. In the Japanese version of the game, he only has 4,500. I don't know why this is, but according to the Japanese strategy guide, unless there's some other number of his that stacks up to 4,500, he has 4,500 health. I don't know if the game, like, it was just way easier in Japan, or if, like, for the US they decided to just change the numbers around. But for whatever reason, you know, he has more health here. I don't know if Ari and company do more damage and have more health as a result. It's unknown. I don't know. I don't know the Japanese version of this game very well. I know a couple things about it. Okay, the name officially translates to Me and Satan King, which is weird when you figure Satan King is hanging around with Santa of the Shadows. Let me think other things I can talk about with this game. I know the chapter names are all kind of different. I actually prefer the US ones. Like, Enter the Pink Hero, Enter Parasol is Chapter 2, and there's Strange Days and Stranger Company is Chapter 5. But in Japan, it's The Pink Hero and Weird Friends, I think. And again, these are literal translations of the names. And I only know this because, for some baffling reason, the Japanese strategy guide actually lists them in English as well. The whole guide is still in Japanese, don't get me wrong. I can't read it for shit. I would like to read the little quips by Ari's friends and family, but they're in Japanese and I can't. There are just certain things that are in English. Japanese are weird about that. Just there's random... this is in English. They'll release full games that never come out in the US that are fully voice acted in English. It's incredibly bizarre. Pepsi Man's a good example of it. Metal Slug 3D is another good example of it. Although, I say good example, Metal Slug 3D is an atrocious game. Pepsi Man, that's sort of debatable. It's alright for what it is, but what it is isn't particularly good as a concept. It's Temple Run. Which, alright for a mobile game, don't get me wrong, but, you know, for a full-on PlayStation release, it's very weird. It's also hard as shit towards the end, I'm told. I haven't played it myself. I've seen a couple streamers and YouTubers take cracks at it. Just because the sheer concept of Pepsi Man by itself is weird enough that it's worth at least looking at. But, yeah, it's a hell of a game. And, like, I don't know if it counts as an FMV game, but The only, quote, cutscenes in the game are fully voice-acted by a live-action American dude who wound up in one of the Saw films, actually. Mike Butters, I think his name is. Yeah, he wound up in one of the Saw films, and he also made the... he was in Pepsi Man. It's very weird. How do you feel about Pepsi, audience? First of all, how do you feel about me yammering on again during the Deep Grave Pit? If you've watched my PS2 version of this I made, God, 4 years ago now, this will be shockingly familiar to you in a lot of these points. Although I don't think I had any of the figurines 4 years ago, so I can say I have made some progress in that front. As I remember saying during that time, one of my lifelong dreams is to get my hands on this figurine, so I'm 4/6, arguably 7ths of the way there. And I have a lot more merchandise in general for this game, because I think at the time all I had was the Prima Strategy Guide, and like... Oh yeah, I also have the, obviously, original game for PS2. Kicking about. Strategy book and everything is in there. Well, I say strategy book. The little, sort of... The manual. You remember those, right? They used to come with games. They were interesting. It had, like, details and some fun little narrative things. I rather like those. And, I have one for Okage. It's got some neat artwork and little story points. Nothing, you know, earth-shattering, like the fact that James is secretly a Santa of the Shadows the whole time, but, you know, it's still a fun look at. No! I thought I could examine the magic circle. I was wrong. What the hell? Ah, shit, there it is. Come on. Ah, bums. Oh, you. I can fight you. You're easy. Lock on. He's a patient, Rockman. He has a ton of health, if memory serves. I also don't know what lock-on is supposed to do. I confess I am lacking potent knowledge in that particular department. Well, he's dead now. Left behind a bag of loot. Deep Grave Pit. Should I get through this today? I don't know. There's other things I'd like to record. I ask because we've just entered what is basically the last episode that I would normally do. I usually record for about an hour and 20 minutes. 4 parts, that usually is. Just get them knocked out. Because the way I upload, 4 parts covers a week and a day. And I think it's good to have... I don't really plan days to record. I just sort of, if I'm in the mood and it happens to be, it's like, oh, I've got free time, I'll record. My schedule helps. Although I will say, after I'm done with uni, there's a solid chance my schedule is going to be complicated enough that it won't be. There's definitely, for a while, because I need to set up living arrangements. But for a while it will be unchanged, but as I look for jobs and careers and places to live, start adult life, which involves moving in with people and forming human relationships where people, I don't know. Let's say human romantic relationships, that sort of thing. Move in with significant others and all that good stuff. That'll probably be a thing by the end of the year. Hopefully be a thing by the end of the year. Somebody asked me a while ago if I had, like, a place you could send fan art, and I can't remember your name, but I definitely replied with my email that you can send him to if you really feel the pressing need to make fan art. Which, if you do, I'm absolutely going to show it off on the show. Preferably during Okage, because naturally it was on an Okage video, so I assume the fan art would be Okage themed. But any fan art regarding Okage would be fantastic. I always love seeing it. I've mentioned the Okage zine. The artists have all been picked for that. I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably throw money towards it once it's available. I tried to get my artist friend, specifically Noki, involved, and she sort of playfully said no because I absolutely 100% expected her to. I love her artwork. I've tricked her into drawing my icon on Tumblr, which, by the way, is actually Token Lad. There is a Token Lad on Tumblr, which is me, but I can't remember the password for that account, so never go there expecting updates from me. The only Tumblr I ever actually look at is actually Token Lad on Tumblr, where I follow a bunch of Okage blogs and some personal friends, and a few Pokemon things.